Can you believe that 2023 is almost here? With everything that's been going around the world, particularly with global economies and predictions of recessions, quite a few people have asked me what I think is going to happen with social media advertising next year. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my top predictions for 2023 with social media advertising in particular. We'll talk about what those predictions are and what you can do to prepare for each of them. Starting with an increasing use of augmented reality, or AR, ads. So you may have seen already that Instagram have actually rolled out a beta for augmented reality ads. So you can actually go in and create these and run them in the Instagram feed and also in Instagram stories right now. It's an open beta. And what these AR ads allow you to do is overlay basic items on top of your existing surroundings. So think of things like overlaying furniture within the room that you're standing in so you can see if that furniture would look good before you purchase, or seeing what jewelry looks like on before you actually buy that jewelry and get it shipped to you. These types of ads do have the potential to really transform the online shopping experience within social media ads. So I think there's a big opportunity there. The one thing I will say though is at the moment, they're quite basic, and that's the nature of things. Like, this is a beta. This is not fully rolled out yet, but it's just something that they are starting to work on, and really I think they'll put more focus on it for the next 12 months. And with that, I do expect big improvement. The other thing with AR ads right now is that they're quite difficult to create. So you need to use Meta's Spark AR app, which is their kind of metaverse / augmented reality creation app. And you need to use that to create these ads. And it's quite complicated. It's far more complicated than just going and setting up a regular ad inside the ad manager. And that's going to remain a barrier, and it's going to stop mass adoption of these AR ads until they get over that and make it a little bit simpler. And I do think that's something they'll work on as well, because Meta as a company are going to realize that, hey, if we want mass adoption of this ad format, we have to make it really easy to set up and use. So I'm sure that's going to happen over the next year or two, and we're going to see a big uptick in these AR ads. So what can you do to prepare? Well, if you have the budget and the capability to go and start using these, I would go and try the beta now. I would start rolling these out, because the first mover advantage is going to be big here. Because if you can start using these now, then you're going to have a huge first mover advantage as these AR ads improve and start getting more widely used. Now, in terms of CPMs, and I think this is across all platforms, I expect them to continue to decline. Maybe not in a massive way, but certainly continue that downward trend. So we actually saw in the third quarter, Facebook reported an 18% decline in cost per ad, and I assume they mean CPM by that, which confirms that prices are coming down. And I think the reason for that, and Facebook thinks the reason for that as well, is reduced demand. So fewer people wanting to run ads on their platform. And I do think just because of the way the economy is headed, that we're going to see this continue, and we're going to see this across all different platforms. So not just Facebook and Meta, but across things like Snapchat and TikTok and everywhere else. And so you might think, well, that's a good thing, right? And it is kind of. But what I also think is going to happen along with this is return on ad spend, or ROAS, is going to decrease as well. Simply because I think consumer spending and business spending is also going to decrease. Businesses and consumers are going to cut budgets, meaning I think this is going to affect both the B2C and the B2B space. So the way I think you can prepare for this is start looking at how you can cut your own expenses or costs to improve your net profit. Because if you know that CPMs are coming down, but ROAS is also going to decline, then you want to make sure that your net margin, your net profit, is as big as possible so you can absorb that drop in consumer spending. So if we're expecting our return on ad spend to decline, by improving your net profit, you can build a bit of a buffer around that and you can weather that storm. I also think one thing to do is start focusing on the offers that you have that will do best within a recession or within a slower economic environment. So take a look at the offers that you have and think about which of those are likely to be difficult to sell or to promote during a slower economy. So think about what are consumers and businesses going to cut spending on first. And if you have offers that you think are likely to suffer from that, then I would look at moving ad spend from those and focusing on the essentials, the thing that you're selling at the moment that are not likely to get cut or not likely to be the first things that get cut when your customers look at how they can reduce their overall spend. The other thing I'd be really putting a focus on, and we are putting a focus on, is how can we increase our LTV, or the lifetime value of our customers. In other words, how can we get the customers that come through the doors to actually spend more money over their lifetime. Because we know that the most expensive thing to do is acquire a customer. It's much easier and less expensive to get existing customers to purchase from you a second, third, fourth, fifth time than it is to acquire a new customer. So with that in mind, think about how can I make sure that every customer that I am acquiring over the next year is actually spending as much as possible with my business over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years. All right, so my next prediction is that YouTube is going to continue to rise as an advertising platform, and it's going to actually take share away from others. Now, the reason I think this is going to happen is because YouTube are making a huge shift early next year, and they're going to actually start paying or start sharing their advertising revenue with YouTube Shorts creators. So for a very long time, ever since Shorts were released on YouTube, YouTube didn't actually give any revenue split. They didn't pay creators of Shorts. So you could get millions of views on YouTube Shorts and you'd basically get nothing for it. Whereas those creating long form content on the platform have continued to enjoy a great revenue share from YouTube. But that's all changing early next year. So creators are actually going to be rewarded for those views on the YouTube platform. Now, what I think we're going to see there is a shift from creators who are pushing out a lot of short form content on platforms like TikTok will spend more time and energy over on YouTube because they're actually going to get paid to do that. This is how YouTube has dominated in terms of long-term content, and I think they're going to do exactly the same with short form. It's going to incentivize more creators to focus on creating content for YouTube Shorts. That means they're going to be moving away from perhaps some of the other platforms. That also means there'll be a lot of ad inventory over on YouTube as well. So an advertiser will start thinking, hey, if I'm spending a lot of money over on TikTok with my short form video ads, I can now run those on YouTube where there's all of this inventory, where all of the users are going. And I think the return is going to be really good there for advertisers as well. Again, just a prediction, I'm not promising anything, but I do think this is a huge move by YouTube. I think it's going to be big for creators. I think it's going to be big for advertisers as well. So what can you do to prepare for this? Well, look, I would be really looking at investing in short form content. I'd be starting to do organic short form content on YouTube to really understand what works well, because that's going to parlay across your advertising efforts when the time is right. So you should be starting now if you haven't already started, but really start focusing on your short form content. Start really trying to figure out what works, particularly with YouTube Shorts. Get a feel for the platform, really start to understand it so that when that time comes next year, you can really take advantage of the ad opportunities that are opening up there as well. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already signed up for my newsletter, make sure you click that link in the description below and do that before we get on to this next prediction. I send that newsletter out every single week with content to help you become a better marketer and a better digital advertiser. So make sure, if you're not already, click and sign up for that newsletter. The next prediction is what I'm calling, for lack of a better term, the continued demise of these really short sales funnels. So things like a webinar where they're offering a $1,000 product and boom, that's kind of it. What we've been seeing really for the last couple of years, and I think we'll continue to see this, is less opportunity in terms of creating a webinar, having a few emails on the back of that, running some ads and seeing huge profit. It's getting more and more difficult to do, and I think that's going to continue in 2023. And this goes back to increased competition on the platform. It's getting more expensive to buy leads and buy customers. And frankly, customers are becoming more sophisticated. You need those longer form funnels. You need to really be focused on lifetime value of a customer versus, hey, I want to buy a lead, monetize that lead, and have it be 200% return on ad spend by the end of the week. Focusing more on how can I acquire leads and turn them into customers that will be worth X amount of dollars over the lifetime, which means 1, 2, 3 years down the track. The businesses that do that will really succeed. The businesses that continue to focus on just these very short timeframes, very simple funnels, and try to make a living by just simply running ads to those funnels, I think next year is going to be really tough for those. Now, something else I think we're going to see next year is more AI, meaning artificial intelligence, being used by these advertising platforms. So we've already seen it with Facebook and Google, Google having their Performance Max and Facebook having their Advantage Plus shopping campaigns. And what this means is these platforms are basically taking a lot of the work away from the advertiser in terms of setup. So basically, let's use Facebook Advantage Plus sales campaigns as our example here. That is a mouthful. With those, you don't really need to set up any targeting at all apart from the country you want to target. All you do is simply set up the campaign, load in the ads, and the AI decides who to show it to, when to show it to them, and everything else. And now with this, what I think we're going to see is a continued shift towards advertisers who are really good at making great ads. So meaning writing fantastic copy, being good copywriters, and the ability to come up with good creatives and overall strong messaging for their campaigns. They're going to succeed, and they're going to continue to succeed and thrive. Those who are weak in these areas, meaning they're not good copywriters and they don't know how to create really good ads, they're going to struggle. And the context around this is not too long ago, platforms like Facebook in particular created a huge opportunity because of their massive audience, because of the low competition, meaning there weren't many advertisers on the platform itself, and because of the ability to target very, very specifically. People could get away with running Facebook ads and not necessarily create great ads, but because of those things I just mentioned, they could still succeed on the platform. It was kind of a fast mover advantage, this big new environment that was a bit of the Wild West, and you didn't have to make great ads, but those other advantages that I just mentioned meant that you could still make good money. Now, because Facebook in particular, but other platforms as well, they're all quite saturated. There's a lot of competition. CPMs are much higher than they used to be. Couple that with the impact of iOS 14.5 and the loss of a lot of that granular targeting, that means that the one competitive advantage that we have available to us now is being able to make better ads. So if you are a great copywriter, if you are great at coming up with ad creatives and creating better ads overall, that's how you get a competitive advantage and you win. And we're kind of being pushed down that path even more with the introduction of these AI models on the platform and these new campaign types as well. So it's just going to be exacerbated in 2023. So the key here, again, pretty obvious, focus on those skills, focus on becoming a better copywriter, focus on learning how to create great creatives, meaning great video ads in particular, but also great image ads. And what makes a great ad in general for the platform that you're advertising on, because they're all different. Facebook ads are different to YouTube ads, they're different to TikTok ads, and you need to be creating ads that are native to the platforms you're working with as well. So keep that in mind. Now, to learn how to create better ads, check out this video next, where I'll walk you through how to write great ad copy, particularly for Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you click that and watch it next if you want to be prepared for that 5th prediction. Let me know in the comments as well, what are your predictions for 2023? I'd love to hear what you, as the viewer, think is going to happen next year in terms of social media ads. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.